Song of Horror is not a survival horror game. Song of Horror is a point-and-click adventure game. Today we'll be taking a look at Song of Horror Episode 2. If you haven't seen my review of Episode 1, you could check it up right here or in the description below. So does Episode 2 hold up as a good horror game? No. Picking right up from the previous chapter, Daniel awakens in a hospital room. He's conveniently surrounded by his friends who are all reluctant to continue pursuing the mystery of the music box, the same one that caused the Husher family to disappear in their own home, as well as Daniel to disappear from reality. However, after surviving his ordeal, he brings back a clue. An acquaintance of Mr. Husher was researching the music box before he disappeared, Mr. Farber, who also happens to own a shop in the city. With his newfound determination, Daniel embarks onto a horrific journey. Except not really, because he's the main character, and if you die as the main character, you have to restart the entire chapter over again. But only if you play with permadeath on, which is the recommended way of playing. So that means we get to play as this Chad, or any of these characters. But I think it'd be funny to keep playing as this guy. Honestly, this permadeath thing is really cool, but it just takes me out of the story every time we switch from narrative to gameplay, which is honestly not that often. Gameplay remains the same from chapter to chapter. You explore, find clues and key items, and slowly progress until you reach the end. This is definitely a where the fuck do I go type of game, which is typical of survival horror games, at least classic ones. That's probably the main difference between old and new games in the genre. I mean, come on, who the hell is supposed to do using the lighter on the wax doll, and then using the horseshoe so the wax doll can dry, creating a makeshift handle. Meanwhile in Outlast, most puzzles are just turning hand wheels and not dying. Song of Horror takes the classic approach to its puzzles. There's this key puzzle where you need to deduce which 3 keys you need to take out of 32, which they try to make sense in the game, but I don't ever want to meet the person who organizes their keys like this. Another one makes you roleplay as Walter White in order to create luminol. Find things and piece them together. That's basically the game loop. The worst types of puzzles are mechanical based like this one. He's still on the... Yes, I'm still on the puzzle. This shit's hard. This is the equivalent of forcing the player to stop in their tracks and complete a Rubik's Cube before continuing. Angry Joe! Oh shit, we made it. Well, the Rubik's Cube thing literally just tells me to stop what I'm doing and do a Rubik's Cube. So you did, that's pretty bad timing. You could have done it while I was being chased or something. It's a lazy way to extend the runtime. Going through doors isn't a pain in the ass anymore. Once you listen to a door, you essentially clear it of any threat, reducing your newfound hobby of door listening down by 70%. Okay, but what makes this game horrifying? Why should we be scared? That's where this game disappoints. I understand fear is subjective, but I never found a viable threat that incorporates the gameplay loop we just discussed. You see, this game is broken up into 2 segments. There's the exploration segment where you just explore and solve puzzles, and then there's the DDR segments where you just press X to not die. That's what I mean by Song of Horror being a point-and-click adventure game, except, without literally pointing and clicking. There's also jump scares, which are only scary for about half a second. But they are done fairly well, and don't come as often as you expect. Okay, I kept this review fairly spoiler-free, but I want to talk about the ending segment, so here's your warning for spoilers. If you want to check this game out for yourself, I recommend it at sale price, especially if you're a fan of slow burn, point-and-click adventure horror games. Now on to spoilers. Alright, this ending segment fucking blows. I'll admit it's mostly from my ineptitude as a player, but I just had such a hard time in this maze-like level. Throughout the chapter, you piece together items to help you get access to the basement storage rooms. Once you get all items, you can now wander the storage rooms, looking for a specific room that contains a wardrobe. You use the luminol spray to follow blood trails which help you lead towards the wardrobe, all while being chased by whatever the fuck this is. Once the music swells up, you need to run and hide. You can tell which rooms are open via bloody handprint on the door. And that's it. You go around following bloody trails, hiding in rooms, and going in circles because the bloody streaks always lead to a closed gate, so then it becomes a bloody maze. I really don't know why this part was so hard for me. It took me 30 minutes before I decided to use a walkthrough, and then the walkthrough took me an additional 10 minutes. Since I had permadeath on, I was being very careful. I didn't want to lose another character. I'm pretty sure that's why it took me so long to complete this portion of the game. I was just being too cautious. There was an actual threat that had been missing throughout the rest of the game. The addition of an actual enemy, despite it really just being a sound cue, made me realize the lack of real suspense throughout the rest of the game. Instead of artificially manufactured suspense like the DDR segments, there was a real sense of urgency that was lacking until now. And it's not even that good of a part. You literally just run around a maze to find a wardrobe. I don't really like giving numerical ratings, so I'm going to order the Song of Horror episodes from best to worst, and episode 2 just doesn't compare to episode 1. I've been your host, Corpsi. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. In the meantime, you could watch the Corpse Party lore series that I have, or you could watch my review of Song of Horror episode 1 right over here. Don't forget to join the Discord via the link below, or follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/CorpsiTV. And thank you for the support, and thank you to all my lovely patrons.